baby beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad. First get out into the bus, you're like, oh no!
Yeah, I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
Because you haven't learned anything.
Shut up and take my podcast!
That is the voice that you did at the very beginning of the episode one.
That was the first noise I came up with, which was like existential crisis mode.
That
And
was
it's not
panic.
changed for 3 years.
it's all
Hold on, I'll try and do James's quote. Okay, let's go with that.
Okay, hey!
I think that's what he says following
He
it.
does.
Yeah.
Aw.
Aw.
Oh, sorry, I'll get it together.
You're just really choked
I'm
up.
so sad. It's over.
You say that, but the second we finished,
Acting.
the second we finished the episode, and Ellen said, "Oh, that was it, wasn't it?" I actually got slightly. I was like, "Oh." That's a little emotional kind of.
It's like in a to make it more cinema like. It says if you've been shot in battle, but you've just been charging forward, rallying the troops, and then you look down and you see the blood seeping into your shirt, and you go, "Oh, this is it for me." And then you wank off for a bit more. I don't know, roughly 40 minutes or so.
Yeah. Fuck is happening?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about this podcast, yo.
What podcast is that, Sean?
It is Shut Up and Take My Podcast, the Australian Futurama podcast that for over 3 years now has pitted episode against episode in a bloody glorious gauntlet battle for your goddamn entertainment.
Oh!
And ours. And as always, since episode 16, I've been joined by Phil.
What do you say, guys? You want to go around again?
Aww.
Since somewhere around episode 50 or so, we never got this clarified, I've been joined by Ellen.
Well, 5 years of art school and all I've got is barfing into the wind.
Since the very beginning, episode 0, actually, I am joined by Sexy Chris.
If this podcast keeps bothering me, I'm going to kill it or adopt it. And we're
joined
joined.
forever
Since
and
the beginning
always.
of time and always in every episode,
Joined
except
by.
for that one episode that he wasn't on.
But he kind of was there.
He was there.
But he was present.
He was joined
Spiritually joined
by
by Sean.
I want a Janos.
You can't have one.
I want him. I
What
want
was he
him.
doing out with the sun was still up? I don't understand.
Have we had vampires before in Futurama?
yes.
We
Yeah.
have, haven't
The
we?
fire engine episode.
You
The
just
fi-
got to
the fire
have
engine episode.
really, really heavy duty sunblock.
Right, yeah.
The one where they go to the sun and the fire thing leaps on Bender and it sets arson.
Oh, yeah. And
And then they go to a blood bank to save a blood bank.
That's
right.
And there are vampires in that episode.
So we have day vampires.
What did the pyromaniac say to his son?
What did the paramedic?
Ah, son.
Wow. That is the most you've laughed on this podcast.
Your own joke, no
Your
less.
own joke.
Hey, man.
We've had a Chris self-laugh moment and an Ellen self-laugh moment.
You're going to be the
dear.
trendsetter, you know?
So what we've done here, guys, is there's a couple of things. Number one, we have just come off a day of rigorous Roll to Cast Season 3 podcasting.
Yes.
Where we finished the third act,
Yes.
I can safely say.
There was
Third day of recording.
fourth day of recording.
Fourth day of recording.
Fourth day recording. Probably the third of 4 acts, it looks like.
Yeah.
Second mental breakdown.
Yeah, I'm very tired having DM'd.
We've survived a big rainstorm that has just come upon us in the
Yes.
last hour and has taken a short break.
We had to get a rabbit.
Yeah, I couldn't find my rabbit in the rain, so I had to get him out because he's an idiot. And
So who found it?
Chris found it.
Yeah, that's right.
We are in the 150th podcast episode of Shut Up and Take My Podcast, which just so happens to be the final episode of Futurama.
We didn't engineer that at all.
Not
Not
at
at
all.
all.
Ever. We never just do weird side mission episodes just because.
For no padding
For no
reason.
reason.
For no reason.
So we are up to Season 7, Episode 26. Meanwhile.
So I just get in there and
Which is what?
What is meanwhile?
that's a word that means while this is happening,
Yeah.
also this is happening.
Well, Let's try this.
I'm sorry, that was a really grumpy way of
Yeah.
saying it.
Episode's title.
Oh, I'm sorry. Have you got something better to do, Phil?
Maybe a
Sleep.
reference to cartoonist Jason Shigar's 2010 comic book of the same name, which features a time machine that can only go back in time 10 minutes.
Cool. Right, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Maybe.
Nah.
Nah.
I don't see any similarities.
No. You know who we can
None
ask?
at all.
Who can we ask?
Original friend of the podcast, director Peter Avancino.
Yeah.
First and best friend.
Who, along with Steven Sandoval, came on and was our first director-writer interviewee.
Yeah.
Are they best friends of the podcast?
They are of each other.
I
They
mean,
were-
I'm engraving their
They had-
BFF necklaces as we speak.
I think they
better
were
be.
drinking. They had like a wine together or something.
Yeah.
They better be friends of ours because I've tattooed their names on my body.
Oh, where?
And
That's for them
that
to
would
know.
be telling.
Only they may see.
And the person we can't ask is the writer for this episode, the ever elusive
Ken Keeler?
Ken Keeler.
Yeah.
Ken Keeler, my favorite, and I'll never get to talk to him.
Yeah, you will.
Sometimes
One day.
that's-
One, he's
You'll just
notoriously elusive.
Sean, when you speak into the air, Ken Keeler is listening.
listens,
One can only hope.
You just appear at his window one day. Hello.
Okay,
hello.
that's bad. That's bad, and we're not
Hello.
doing that.
I'm Sean.
You might have heard of me from my podcast,
Shut up and take my podcast.
the Australian Futurama podcast.
And the air date.
Hello,
the,
police.
The final air date for this episode was September the 4th, 2013. So we're coming up on, 7 years?
Yeah.
In a half a year's time.
Yeah.
Coming up on 7 years.
6.5 years.
Oh.
Do you think it's time we let go hope it's coming back?
No.
Nah.
Nah.
Next
Hey,
year, revival, it's happening.
That's for chumps.
How long did it take Twin Peaks to come back?
Holy
20
shit. I mean,
26 years.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
meant to be 25, as Laura Palmer says.
yeah, she says, see you in
But
25
technically, it released 26 years later.
Yeah.
So,
So-
I'm just saying
so-
sloppy
years.
work, David Lynch.
It could happen.
Possible.
It could happen.
And also, Firefly might still get another season.
Don't play with
He
me.
almost said it with a straight face.
that show's dead and buried.
Hey, guess
As they
what?
say, avenge us. Yes.
For the final time ever,
Oh, God.
plot rundown.
Uh,
Sir Phil.
I mean, I might have to run down the plots of the episodes during the Gauntlet.
Nah, we've already.
No.
They know
No,
it.
they're done.
Okay.
We did it.
All right.
What's
well,
this one?
This one is it's a Fry and Leela episode. It's about their love. And they go to the moon. The whole crew goes to the moon, which is where they first had their first delivery.
Aw.
Back when they cared about delivering
yeah.
stuff.
This time they just literally throw it at the mail slot. And they have a nice day until they get on, and I will not try and remember this name. Okay, I will. The Hexasquidopilion.
Did you write it down, Ellen?
It's like
No.
Look at me.
something like the Hexasquidopilion or something.
I will look it up.
Okay, see how close I got. They're on that.
The going name, by the way, is the Hexasquidopilion.
Yeah,
Just so we know.
The Bender baths, and that seizes up the machine, and Leela goes flying into space.
Hey.
And she barely survives, and that makes Fry realize that he has to ask her, finally, to marry him.
He's going to lock that shit down.
There.
Yeah, and a
Always.
completely unrelated plot thread. The professor starts fucking with time again and invents a button that sends him in a bubble back 10 seconds. But only recharges every 10 seconds because it has to have specific constraints for this episode to work.
Mm-hmm.
He also has a bubble which you can go inside, which looks like a weird rock with just a hole in it.
It's like a weird alcove-y.
It's very
Yeah.
strange
Dome.
design.
It
that
looks like
dome
a
thing.
like a fake rock that you would put in an
so
aquarium
weird.
or something.
I was really wondering what the hell that was about.
And it has no bottom.
Yeah,
like,
you can
'cause
just
they
literally
Because
just
they
walk.
can just
Yeah.
Flintstone
solid
it.
snake it.
How close was I?
What did you guess again?
Hexasquidopilion.
Hexasquidopilion.
Not
Hexapillion.
quite right. It is
No.
the mecha hexadecapus.
Hexadecapus.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Sounds dirty.
That reminds me when you go like past 16th in sheet music. It's like a semi-demi quemi.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say like
Hemi,
past
semi-demi
six-
quaver.
I thought you were doing like a first base, second base, third base kind of joke.
16th base. Whoa!
When you get to the
When you touch eyeballs.
hey, don't knock that.
Don't ever knock the eyeballs.
don't knock them together.
It's
You will
intimate.
hurt your eye.
It's intimate.
The Lord Oculon is coming.
Praise him.
Praise the Oculon. Anyway, where was I? Yes.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Time stops.
He has a time reversing machine, and it sends him back 10 seconds, and also if you hide in the bubble, you're resistant to it. No, it sends the whole universe back 10 seconds, unless you're in the bubble. So Fry steals it, uses it to get a lot of diamonds, and make a proposition to the Leela, and then for some... I'm tired!
You can condense this into 10 seconds.
I don't care. This is my last one. I'm doing
He's going to
it.
stretch it out.
So he proposes to her, and instead of getting her to say yes, he says like, "Let's go to the top of the Vampire State Building at 6:30. Meet me there, and if you arrive, it's a yes, and if you don't come, it's a no." This is totally arbitrary, but that's what they do.
It's a romantic gesture.
Yeah, sure. And he goes up there, and he thinks that she's arrived late, but it's only because his watch is running fast because he's been sending the universe back in time. So he makes the very fine decision to throw himself to his death.
A fine choice.
Yeah, and when he falls past the clock, he realizes that he may have made a slight mistake.
It takes him quite a few seconds to realize this.
Yes,
More than 10, you would
longer
say?
than 10. And so by the time he realizes that Leela is actually there below him, he presses the button and he just keeps falling.
Gruesomely.
Yes. So the professor realizes what's happened, gets everyone in the bubble. They go down to try and save them, at which point it distracts Leela long enough, or distracts Fry long enough that he starts hitting the pavement every time. Finally, they break him out of the time loop, and he lands on the machine, sends out a huge pulse, and freezes the entire universe.
Sans for?
Except for Leela and Fry. And they spend an entire lifetime on frozen Earth, having a wonderful, lovely time together.
They look after themselves really well.
Yeah, there was never...
They're moisturized and everything.
And they were never lonely, and they walked across oceans, and then right when it's about to all finish, the professor's like, "Oh yeah, you didn't actually shred me across time. I'm here. I was at the right angle to your time. I'm back. Science stuff. Here, I fixed it. Press the button. It's over."
But maybe it starts again.
I have a question.
We might have answers.
A time question. Why... And I wasn't here for the explanation because my mind was elsewhere. Why did fucking Farnsworth get shredded? Like, why does him being
Because he was outside of the bubble.
But so was everyone else in the universe. So why didn't everyone else get shredded?
It's if you were in the bubble when it was pressed, and then you leave the bubble and you press the button can't send you back inside
because there's nowhere to go back.
It doesn't know where you...
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't know where you were because you were in a chronoton bubble.
You'd think after 3 years in like 10 time travel episodes, I'd be paying attention a little bit more.
But in the realist instance, it just puts you in a right angle.
to this current
To that universe.
That's right. Which is how science works.
Yeah.
Everything's
GNE.
Where do you think this ranks among like the most plausible? Do we? Because we had the time travel episode, Ellen. I think.
Yeah,
Was it you and me, Ellen, or was it?
God, I hope not.
think
There's
I
a
was
lot
there.
of time travel.
God,
episodes.
I hope
As in we had a side mission time travel.
I think I
That was
discussed
everyone,
that one.
right?
That
was
was
everyone?
I think so, yeah.
Did we
Was
decide
I
what we
there?
thought was the most plausible time travel?
I think I like the one where you just go forwards, keep going forwards.
which is
Yeah.
the late Philip
That
Joe Fry.
seemed to
Joe
make
Fry.
sense.
Yeah.
Late
Uh,
Philip Joe Fry.
It had its own
Wild card
set of
episode.
rules. Yeah,
Late
yeah,
Philip
it
Joe
is.
Fry.
It is my wild card episode. Yeah, it had its own set of rules that it stayed within, and I think this does that to a large extent.
I did like the
And-
silliness of all the presidents' heads. Where it's like,
yes.
Oh, that's
hey,
right.
guess what? Time travel. Don't fucking care.
yeah.
Just
do
do
it.
it.
Drink this.
season 6 winner.
Drink
All
the
the President's
juice.
Heads.
It's so fun. And it's
Yeah.
just like the thing of like, sometimes the best thing to do with time travel is ignore it.
Yeah.
Just
Season
do whatever you
3
want.
winner.
Roswell and
Roswell.
Roswell.
Well,
Also
well.
a time travel episode.
All you got to do, you got some red,
It's a bl-
you got some
Blue.
you put them
Put them
Together.
together.
You go back in
what
time.
do? You go back in time and you fuck your grandma. And
Ellen's
what,
been
you're gonna-
practicing that song for ages.
You couldn't
And
even
I've been
end on an R.
confused.
Into the Wild Green Yonder, they end by going back in time.
Yeah.
Or they go
No,
across space.
It turns out they don't, though, because they
Yes.
just wormhole to a different channel.
Remember
That's
to
right.
wind
A
your
comedy
watches,
channel.
everybody.
I get it.
Again.
We love time episodes.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah.
It's good timey-wimey stuff.
Nice.
Oh.
Wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly
Yeah.
timey-wimey
Like a
stuff.
rug
Yeah.
or a carpet. Time.
Did no one... Yeah,
Didn't get that.
What's that?
Okay, never mind.
there's that trope. There's like every science fiction thing where like it's like a piece of paper and you
Yes.
fold it in
Oh,
half
yeah,
and you
yeah,
put a
yeah.
pencil
Stranger
through it.
Things.
Yeah.
Stranger,
logic.
everybody
Yeah.
does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they ever do it in Futurama.
No.
No, you
It's
just
the
got to
stupidest
deal with it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I rushed the end a bit, but I was boring myself. So
Oh no, they do. They do a time analogy in
Do.
Chronotrons when he talks about time being a basketball.
Chronotons.
Yes, they use the
Chronotons.
basketball.
time keeps on slipping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time keeps on slipping.
Yeah, the real
That was my
way.
You
first
saved the real science till
episode.
front
I
and
came
quarter.
in on a time episode, y'all. I don't know if it's chronologically right, but that's the first one I
That
recorded.
you recorded
yeah.
with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another.
Ben functions. He has an airbag. If
Nice.
you hit
Oh, yeah.
him fast enough.
And he can barf.
How
everyone
fast?
can run
Yes.
at 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, you hit him with a
Object.
yes,
With a Zoidberg?
A Zoidberg is what
With
I was
a
going for.
Zoidberg.
Yeah, 40
Yeah,
miles an
an
hour. He
object.
deploys a
Airbag.
airbag. Yep.
We almost had a death tally. I thought Fry straight up killed the clam, but then the clam makes a coughing noise at
Yes,
the end of
the
that
clam's
scene, and I
okay.
was like, "Well, damn, no one died."
And then
I mean-
Fry dies and undies.
Oh yeah, he
a
does.
lot.
There you go. Technically, Fry dies. Maybe.
Yeah.
Quite a number of times.
Quite a lot, yeah.
And this is like also like a fairly high number of like limb or appendage removals as well, and it's always bloodless. It's always
Yeah,
like you just see the limb, but like there's no blood like flowing out of it.
Which is weird because Fry is
Fry's
very
all blood.
blood-filled.
Yes,
He's
it's got a
only
lot-
blood.
It's got a lot of blood for a skinny
Only
guy.
blood and intestines, it seems to be, and one eyeball.
I kind of want to talk to the directors because I have a sneaking suspicion this is the last episode. What are they going to do? Fucking fire us? Put as much blood in as we can.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Let's almost make good on like the suicide idea thing
Yeah.
from the first
oh my
episode.
god, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Instead of
pretty
bending.
dark.
Gosh, very
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
It's the whole basis of the
I mean,
conflict
Leela
is
nearly
Fry
dies in the
trying
first
to kill
5
himself.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. God.
There's a lot going on.
It's layers. It's like poetry.
It's like onions.
It's like yeah.
It's
It's
weird.
like ogres.
I can't like think about this episode without contextualizing it through the entirety of the series. Like, especially because season 6 for me was so frustrating because we weren't nailing down whether Fry and Leela were romantically entangled now, or if they weren't, or what was the boundaries. And now it's like you did it. You done did
I
it.
mean, they start the beginning of this episode and they're like, these two are fucking together. Look,
Yeah,
they're holding
yeah.
hands. They're on a trip together. They're in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna get married.
And they'd been getting progressively closer and closer.
Season
through the,
7
yeah,
was
through
wholly
season
established.
7.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
It was referenced as well that they were on and off again, and sometimes it seemed like they were together, and but it was that they were together.
Yeah.
They
was
just
certainly
had some
clearer.
troubles every so
In
often.
Yeah,
season 7 it
yeah.
was. Season 6
gets a
sometimes
lot
they
clearer.
were like sometimes not dating.
Yeah, I
like
remember us
sometimes-
just going, what?
Yeah.
What?
I thought
She's
they were
dating someone
together.
else. What?
Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
they open?
Maybe.
I think didn't Fry try that already with a
Oh, he did.
girlfriend? Wasn't there a polyamorous
Yeah,
relationship?
he was.
There
in that,
was, yeah.
He was in
Oh,
the house
yeah.
with the 6 other boyfriends.
Yeah,
Yes.
and if you've got one piece of delicious cake, even if 5 other bodies are thrusting into that cake, isn't it better to have one piece than no cake at all?
I feel like this is going to offend some people.
That's
Yeah,
the quote from the episode.
I remember no quotes ever. I don't remember quotes from past episodes. Like I can't.
I
tell
don't remember
No.
anything. I don't remember past episodes.
Finish this quote. By my shiny
Metal rectum.
Daffodil.
daffodil. Thank you, Ellen.
Oh.
It's, look at me, Dr. Zoidberg, homeowner. That one always sticks in my
That's a good
mind.
one.
It's like the best. It's the best joke from that whole quite bad episode.
That's the
The
one
Deep
where
South.
Deep South.
Deep South, yeah, where
yeah.
he finds a home under the ocean and manages to burn it down.
Oh.
Well, I think there's a really good one where it's like Leela gets the boot and then she gets the box of boots, and as she's pulling it up, this weighs at least like 20 times as much as
Any boot.
any boot,
Any boot.
and it's like 10 pairs of
Yeah,
boots
yeah.
in a box. It's so good.
Chris, for you especially, because you talked up these last 3 episodes quite
Yeah.
like you were really waiting for this last kind of trilogy of episodes that
yeah.
are what is, and you're the only one. Are
Were
you the
you
only
the
one that
only
has
one?
seen Meanwhile before?
Yeah.
What's it like for you kind of contextualizing it across the whole series and also watching it for the second time, if not longer, more?
It's just fun. It's Futurama, you know, like I feel like when I say like, because I don't know, weird sort of thing is that you guys haven't seen all of Futurama up until this point. And it's like, so when we talk about stuff being quintessential Futurama or stuff like that, I'm like, yes, and now that word means the same, like contextually.
You've seen all of it.
Because
like
you've seen
me.
all of it and now you can reflect on it in the same way.
Yeah.
And it like, you know, it's not like, you know, I've seen all of Futurama. It's like, it's just a different perspective. I don't know. I like...
Things are different when you take them as the whole.
Yeah, exactly. And I like Futurama. And I like this show.
Good. I'm glad you're doing this podcast.
But like this reminds me why I do.
What a twist ending. Yeah, I hate it, guys.
I fucking hate this show.
Oh, no.
Disenchantment, however. Tell you what, that's a show.
Segue
It's actually
for
quite a
Chris's
good-
brand new podcast.
I don't mind it. No, I really I think Futurama ends really very strongly. And
Again.
yeah, again, I think it's a great show, and I just like it, and I liked being able to share the show with you guys. You guys getting to explore it all for like those final episodes for the first time, and being able to be like, oh, you guys are seeing stuff that I didn't see.
Just
This is
nice that you finally shared it with us after years of hogging it away from us, just refusing to allow us to
Yeah,
watch
you
it.
had the only copy of Futurama in Australia.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
That's why we're the only Australian Futurama podcast.
Someone else can take on the mantle.
Have you guys seen that Mad Max movie? It's like that, but with Futurama instead of wives. It's
Wives and Water?
It's just Futurama DVDs.
DVDs and Blu-rays.
Futurama and beer.
I think
goodness gracious.
I think it's a funny episode as well, which is really nice because it's schmaltzy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't overdo that stuff because the schmaltziness is like earned after fried ties like 20 times.
Quite bloodily.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're like,
What message is that sending?
Yeah, that's right.
To be sincere, you must die.
He must die a lot. I mean, he's already sincere before that.
Yeah.
He's doing his best.
Yeah.
He uses the time machine to rob a store blind of diamonds.
To be fair, absolute. Okay, if
Complete
you had the
racket.
machine, what the heck else would you be doing? Because I know I would definitely use it to steal stuff.
I just like that
capitalism
guy.
is a joke. Give me the shiny now.
Yeah. That guy who can crush coal into diamonds.
Oh yeah, that's hot.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty
Is
good.
that guy a recurring character? Who the fuck is that
he's
guy?
new.
But also, he can be working at somewhere much better than that. He's
so
got
weird.
talent.
What are you talking about?
he's
He
wearing
can't
like
be working anywhere better. He
Diamonds,
walks around
he
and he
sells-
crushes things into diamonds.
He's working a circus.
Who is he? Why is he wearing a cape? I don't
feel like-
understand.
I feel like a jeweler may be higher paid than a person in circus.
He can crush
Sean.
gold into
Wait,
diamond with
don't
his
you know-
hand.
if there's a new character, don't you normally do like an introduction?
Oh, God, that's another thing I've left by the wayside after many
Like the
months.
impressions we haven't done for
a
like 3
moment of
seasons.
Thank you for
silence
reminding
for all
me.
the bits in this podcast that we have killed off over the years. Doing research, introducing characters, doing voices.
Yeah, like guest starring people that have come onto the podcast.
New writers,
Yeah.
new directors.
Oh, yeah, by the way, so Peter Avancino is back from his last episode, and Ken Keeler is back from his last episode.
And this is everybody's swan
It's
song.
their swan song. Everyone that worked on this Meanwhile episode, it is their swan song.
They don't do any more Futurama content?
Nah,
What about the podcast?
then yes.
There
Do we count
go.
this? We can't count this as the canon.
No, the Futurama podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Radiorama.
Oh,
Radiorama.
sorry. Yeah.
Radiorama was
I
that?
thought you were referring to us as the Futurama
was
podcast.
Radiorama
as-
before your time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I think you did it, but I was maybe involved, but not here.
You
Maybe
might
I was
have
in
been
Switzerland.
Indisposed.
Indisposed. I was busy being kidnapped by
A Swedish
a
prince.
small, a small foreign
name is-
faction.
His name is Ultra Guy, which you,
Ultra guy.
which you can see from the big sign outside
Yeah,
the
it was
shop.
Ultra
Yeah,
guys.
that's right.
Ultra Guy's custom diamonds.
diamonds.
Yeah.
Dude,
They're custom diamonds because he literally crushes them himself.
I mean,
From
most
candidate
diamonds
diamonds.
are not to be a nitpicker, but you do get diamonds custom cut. I mean, like you
Yes.
might buy a,
Not
Yeah, but you don't
custom
get to select
crushed.
the coal.
no, that's
and he does it right in front
no,
of you.
because that's not
It's the
true.
experience.
That's true.
Of
Also-
having a diamond made in front of you.
I missed this, but he charges them 5 bills
Bills.
Bills, apparently.
Just Bills.
Could be
Yes,
anything.
I don't know what that means.
With a name like Ultra Guy, he has a future as like a professional wrestler.
I think he had a past as a
I'm gonna
professional
make you
wrestler.
into
Yes.
a diamond.
Yeah, and he does it in front of you
Oh, that's pretty cool.
and gives a lucky fan the diamond.
Ah.
Frankly, I'd date Ultra Guy.
Yeah, I mean, you get free diamonds.
Yeah, free guy.
I mean, actually, you have to find
Who's
Cole.
Ultra?
Guy.
You have to get Cole for him to get the diamond, and Cole is, like, not.
I've been bad. Sandra is going to bring me coal.
I do take one piece of offense from this episode.
Oh,
Sean, fences are made to keep people out.
Oh.
Sorry,
what the fuck?
I don't know.
I don't like my chances if that's what the moon guy got out of 5 years of art school and I only have done 3 years of art school.
Here's the trick. More art school equal bad.
Oh.
Hey, guess what?
Speaking of someone who's done 7 years.
Can anyone do balloon animals here?
No, fuck no.
I'm trying to learn it
Yes.
at my job, but I'm terrible. And like one of my coworkers was like, "Oh, I'll teach you how to look. I'll teach you like the simplest one. We've got some time to kill. No worries." I think she tried to teach me like a T-Rex, and she was like, "It's honestly so simple. Like a baby could do it." And I'm like, "Please don't say that.
Don't
because that
say
means-
things before teaching.
That means I will fuck it up." And it just slowly like, we both did it, and then one kid. I was like, which one do you want? And like mine is slowly untwisting itself and like reverting to just
Quick, kid.
Yeah.
Decide.
Quick, take it out.
The dinosaur's going extinct.
Chris, can you actually, or was that a bit?
I can do a little bit of balloon animaling.
Oh.
I can do juggling as well. I had to
Can
learn
juggling
I can
balloon
juggle a
animals? Because
little.
that's easy.
Yeah. I had to learn it for my job.
What, as a arts director?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a youth theatre company. I had to learn juggling and like entertaining children.
Okay.
And I know how to do Diablo and
Cool.
and hoops.
The game?
Yeah.
Diablo.
Diablo
No,
is it's like an hourglass shaped roller on a string.
Oh,
with
wow.
two sticks.
Or Diablo or
It's called a Diablo.
I thought you
Yeah,
meant the
right.
video game.
Why have you never showed this talent?
because I only got it like 2 years ago when I was away from the podcast in the desert. Well,
Wow.
Australia.
Wow, you're doing it now. That's amazing.
Oh my
Whoa.
gosh, Chris! What?
Oh, it's flying into the air.
Oh no! It's coming down, Chris.
It's getting bigger?
What a talent that you have. Here, I will show you all my talent.
I hate it.
Phil, that's disgusting.
I'm sorry.
Please do not do that again
Don't
in
ever
our
work
presence.
with children.
I mean, it's quite impressive, though, right? You
I
can't
liked
do
it. Just as impressive as your favourite moments from this episode,
Hey.
which are what? Mine's are the abbreviation of good news, everyone, to GNE.
It's just so random, isn't it?
That's what we should have called the podcast.
GNE.
How were we to know we hadn't seen this episode?
I've seen it.
Well, then
Damn.
you should have been ahead of the
Well,
curve.
then,
No, I'm
yeah.
streets behind.
if you have
Hey.
to,
That's
if
the
you
wrong
have
show.
to ask.
That's the next show.
Yeah, I like it when they are creeping along the street in the bubble.
That's
Oh,
very
the
funny.
Oh,
Flintstones.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Flintstone slash.
and just the general jokes at Zoidberg's expense about the money, especially when he's like, it's only for scientific purposes, and then presses it just so he can laugh at Zoidberg's pain one more
They
time.
couldn't give him his happy ending of the
No,
series.
no.
Couldn't
They
do it.
had to shit on him one last time.
Yeah.
I loved the Vampire State Building. I literally gasped,
gasped.
when it's beautiful.
Oh, the design is awesome.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
beautiful, like classic Gothic architecture. Oh man, so spooky. I love it. I also just like the fact that they had the Scream by Edward Munch. I was just like,
Yeah.
It's the most expensive thing they've ever had to deliver.
yeah. Which I'm like, I feel like. Okay, maybe it's appreciated in value, and just Zoidberg sticking his head in it for giggles. Like I just thought it's very silly.
That's on you for hiring Planet Express, who
move
clearly
the
wouldn't have a good track record. There's no way they do. That's on you for giving it to them.
Have they just kind of give up in after season 5 that they do much delivery stuff?
No, they
Yeah.
don't.
And they reference it a couple of times, like, oh, we still do that? Okay.
I think there is someone that has done the math, and in like the second run, they do it like something like somewhere between 5 and 10 deliveries total.
God. What's the shipping on it though?
Yeah, that's right.
Chris, what about you?
I like the ending. Yeah, I think it's my favorite moment is the heartfeltness. Also, like the final act is done silently. with the characters don't say anything while they have that montage. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's nice.
I like that shot with the snowflake.
That's
It's
really
really
cute.
beautiful.
I
It's
wish
really
I had the
lovely.
Blu-ray. I bet it was made because the second series was obviously made in high def, and Blu-ray would have just been. Oh.
Do we not
Yeah.
have Blu-ray?
We have the season 6 DVD as Blu-ray.
Ah, that's what we
because all the Blu-rays were recalled in Australia.
Yes.
So I can't find them
They
anymore.
got salmonella or something?
I think so.
Yeah, we had too much red here. As you know, Australia has a lot of red dirt. So when that's mixed with the
Blu-ray,
Blu-ray,
time
we
travel.
go back in time.
Then
You've done
Futurama-
it again! You've amused yourself!
That explains so
Sorry,
much.
isn't a crime to amuse myself?
What about you,
yes.
Sean? What's your
Knocked
favorite
everything out.
moment?
Well, you know what? It's just because it gave me such a visceral reaction. What's the squid roller coaster thing called?
I put it away.
Mecha
Hexadecapus.
It gave me a
Pod.
very kind of visceral memory of going on one of those machines that we have, like the Royal. It's called the Royal Adelaide Show in Adelaide, which is just a big fair. And there's like one of those machines where there's the arms that spin around, but then the carriages also spin around.
It's like a
Yeah,
rodeo
yeah.
spinner, it's sometimes
Yeah.
called.
I think it's called like the whirlwind or the tornado.
There's
the
different name
hurricane.
everywhere.
The
Yeah,
hurricane.
hurricane.
Instead of
common, yeah.
sitting down and strapping you in, you sit down and the kind of the harness comes over
I
you.
hate that.
And it clicks, and then they clip it at the bottom. But the thing is, you actually hear the click, and the person came over and he starts putting them down, clicks next to me, clicks on the other side, and he goes down and he's going, it's not going in. And then he walks away. So there's been no click, and I've heard him murmur, it's not going in. And then, like, I'm thinking, okay, he's just going to go get it fixed and go away. And then all of a sudden, they're counting down, like 5, 4. I'm like, am I about to die?
And then he
Yeah.
died, yeah.
Yeah.
He died. So.
So I'm thinking, okay, I've got about 5 seconds when I can hold onto the harness, see how long I can keep it down. It's going to fly up at some point. I'm going to die. He must have clicked it and I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm here.
Yeah.
Maybe that middle one doesn't click.
It's
and he
load-bearing.
does that to fucking everybody who sits there.
It's the little spark of joy
Yeah,
he
it's like,
gets. It's like, have you seen?
Oh, it didn't go in, okay.
Have you seen some
Every
of those
time.
bungee jump people? I think I've seen a clip of this in New Zealand. This is horrible.
Where they
this
kick
is
them
so
off?
Cool.
No, but they pretend as the person's falling, they have like an extra length of rope or something, and they throw it out, and they go as if like the rope has broken, and so
Yeah.
as that person's falling, they just have the sensation of like, I'm going to die until the bungee jump works. And
I
I'm
would
like, that's
probably have a
terrible.
heart attack.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
You
There's
pay
one
extra,
where
you pay
they-
extra for that.
Oh, good.
There's a similar but reverse trick where you like blindfold them and you tell them they're going to do a bungee jump and they have to build up and build
Oh,
up and
yeah,
build
yeah,
up
yeah.
and it's like 2 feet.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah.
jump off and and they were building it
Yeah.
up. And,
And
building
I
it up.
love Avenge Us at the very beginning.
Avengers.
Avengers.
Which we
Yeah.
have
Bring
through this
them back.
podcast.
More blood. More blood in this episode.
We've definitely spilled a lot of blood over this show,
Yeah.
I reckon.
Remember that time
And
we
we
got
haven't
into
even-
the bar fight? Flashback.
Smash cut too.
Lots of sound effects.
I didn't realize we were going to
No.
do a clip show for
Lots
our...
of a big soundscape of the 4 of us making noises and bar fight sounds that the editor will have to do
And now
The editor doesn't get paid enough.
at all.
And now
At
a
all.
montage of our favourite moments of ourselves from all of the previous 150 episodes.
one from each episode.
Did
But
you
we have
hear
to-
that, everyone?
Wow.
Wow. What a fantastic montage.
What a time we've had.
It's just
Wow.
Robot Chris saying "fuck off."
You know what? Go back and listen to it yourselves. Give us those downloads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do
Aw.
it. Do
But
it.
you know what will be bloody?
What?
Is,
The Gauntlet?
The gauntlet.
The
the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And at least more immediately, the vote.
What sort of gauntlet will it be, Sean?
A bloody, glorious gauntlet battle.
Is that saying that the glorious gauntlet is bloody, or that it's a bloody glorious gauntlet, mate?
We've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Yeah.
Bloody glorious
What's the, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Yeah,
I
okay.
just don't know if I've given it that much thought.
It's actually never been as violent as we've anticipated.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
been bloody good, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
bloody
glorious.
It's a
It
bloody
holds-
Where the
glorious.
bloody
Yeah.
hell is your gauntlet,
It
mate?
You know, that's a little bit of trivia. It's not a bloody glorious gauntlet battle. It's a bloody glorious gauntlet
Gauntlet battle.
battle.
Yeah,
bloody
you're right. That's right. We're flipping the script.
Too bloody right.
Too rude, mate.
Gauntlet's
Too
also an Australian gang slang,
Oh no, the gauntlet's out, mate.
an Australian slang term that just means discussion. So there is no gauntlet.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
Aren't we about to have a gauntlet about this episode versus the previous winner?
No,
Well, we're not here to fuck spiders.
Oh! Okay, so the unprecedented vote, which is 3 episodes.
Wait,
Murder,
what?
current winners. What was that?
Wait, there's a joint winner at the moment?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Joint winners,
handle that.
co-champions, Murder on the Planet Express and Stench and Stenchability.
Oh, right, okay.
And this episode, Meanwhile. So it is the last 3 episodes. What are you doing? Oh.
He's staring
Just
at
doing things.
We're all,
I'm being weird.
He's
we're
being his
all
best self.
unraveling.
The final 3 episodes are vying for our attention and our affection
Wow.
for a season 7 winner to go on and to fill out the last piece of the puzzle, as it were.
Murder
So-
on the Planet Express
what-
ship.
what is
Stench
it?
and Stenchability. Meanwhile.
Yes.
What's Murder on the Planet Express ship again?
Well, clearly that's not getting your vote.
I'm very tired.
The one where they get they join up in pairs and they have to figure out which one of them has body
I
swaps.
feel like that was like 100 years ago.
And
That
it was the
was-
one where they it's like I'm the like it's the shape shifting
I'm
monster.
the shapeshifter.
Yes, the shape-shifting
It
monster.
was a
yes.
COVID-19 weeks ago.
Oh, right. That makes sense.
You know, where time dilates and nothing means anything.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give you a few.
Stench and Stenchability.
Zoidberg
Was
finds
Zoidberg and
love.
Amelia Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Right,
Bender
yes, yeah.
fights
I
an
did.
orphan.
I really like that episode, and I really didn't like. I didn't think Stench and Stenchability was.
Well, who
that
wants
good
to
an
go?
episode.
Who wants to go first?
Who wants to go first?
Does anyone know?
I think Meanwhile is the best of those 3 episodes, and I think I just had a lot.
Prove your logic.
I had a lot of fun with this episode, and it's another one that's just a fitting ending. It's the writers having fun and being a bit freewheeling. They push the limits a little bit with the gore, but then bring it back to something really sweet afterwards, and they manage that shift in tone like really, really well. Some fantastic laugh out loud moments and time travel. Got to have some time travel.
You got to have it.
Guts to have it in a season winner.
You got to have some time travel.
Yeah. Or some kind of weird dimensional fuckery like in The Sting.
Yeah.
Season 4 winner.
Well, this one has both.
Mine.
Time travel and right angles.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
fuckery.
And
And
fuckery.
fuckery.
Yeah.
Ellen.
Oh, I just have to go back for a second.
go back a second.
I have to go back just
10
1
seconds?
second. 10 seconds. And I have to remark on the simplicity but utter joy of the scene where Fry barges into Bender's room.
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
we didn't
love
talk
that
about
scene
that.
so much. I have to say that is one of the... I'm going to link it into my argument to justify going back to it.
Do this now.
Because it just shows like the craft and the less is more and just how good they are that they turn the very simple nature of that scene, which is a plot scene and a single shot. And it's funny and moves it on and it's really good. And it's just the little things in the characterization in that
Yeah.
scene, like how he says,
I'm going to marry.
I'm really busy.
Yeah.
And then when he comes in anyway and his eye plate like slides half open in that like really
Yeah.
kind of way and then opens up and then the timing
Yeah.
of
I'm going to marry
Come
you.
in.
Yeah.
It's
It's so good.
it's perfect and
Yeah.
there's so little to work with and they do it so well and that for me is emblematic of how quality Futurama is as a show.
Okay, that's one on the board for Meanwhile. I'm going to put one on the board for Stench and Stenchability. I actually didn't. I liked. You know what? Here's the reason why. I have found that I don't need episodes to be. It gives everyone a go in sense of like I don't need everyone to have a whole bunch to do. I'm happy for people to step away and have ensemble moments. You know, you get the Hermes, Amy, and Zoidberg gang together. That's fine. That's why both Meanwhile and Stench are ahead of the pack for me. It just came down to I really feel contextually over the series, I feel that they really do justice to Zoidberg. And I think Zoidberg as a character really kind of comes out into his own in the second run. And he gets to show that he can carry an episode. Like the episode, I forget its title, but it's I'm John fucking Zoidberg.
Is it with the Farnsworth? And it's like
It's
like
It's the mob
Zoidberg's
episode.
past?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's his origins.
Yeah.
And it's fucking badass.
Yeah,
It's so good. He
yeah.
has like a head of luxurious brown hair.
Yeah.
Anytime you kind of get...
no, the John fucking Zoidberg episode is where
he goes against the mob.
that's right.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
he has to Bender has to go into witness protection.
Yes.
Right, okay,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
And that was like...
they get clamps.
It was like Silence of the Clamps. There we go.
There it is.
There
and
it is.
it's where I realized, I just love kind of the emotional beats of the episodes to be at the forefront. And it's just... Zoidberg has always probably been one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character. And to see him get a satisfying conclusion and for it to be a wholly funny and dark episode through Bender dancing on a little girl's corpse and then being traumatized by the fact that he saves her life through that and he gets the adulation that he never wanted. And for me, it just... As much as I love Meanwhile, I have to put one on the board for Stench because I just feel like it's a more satisfying conclusion for a character that I think really needs that. I think he deserves to be in that gauntlet for a reason. And it's also just a tightly written episode and I really enjoy it.
Ellen.
Yes. I am going to vote for Meanwhile. I guess similarly, not all episodes need to have everyone. Although it's nice when everyone kind of it's an ensemble piece and everyone gets kind of like a little shining moment. But I guess similarly to The Devil's Hands, the original finale, it's mainly about what the emotional through line for this series always is and always will be is Fry and Leela and how much they care about each other and how much they've proved that they care each other over the course of this however many years. It's really darkly funny episode. I like even just silly jokes like the bath bath towards the wind or into the wind. I
bath into the
literally
wind,
just
yeah.
like it was one of those laughs and I was like, oh, it's just it's startlingly funny. They have real fun with the visuals. It's got a beautiful montage at the end and I think it's almost cheating, but it's just like it's so much heavier as an episode because it does have the weight of the whole show and it just kind of wraps it up all nicely. Also, I didn't get to do fashion corner, wink, so I'm going to just quickly segue into that. There's not too
10
much
seconds
fashion in
into
this.
the part?
Yeah. I don't like Fry's suit. So that
Boo!
I don't like the
Boo.
mustard the like mustard tan
With
suit
sneakers.
jacket with sneakers. Come on, and it got a blue tie, and it's just not quite. Those colors just don't
What about Leela's
quite
dress?
work together. Leela, a nice bit of cleave for
Just a
her
bit.
wedding dress. I do
Little
like her
boob
with
window.
a bun.
What about the purple dress she wears to the date?
That's her usual evening dress.
Right, okay.
I mean, it's lovely, but I've already talked about it.
Phil, it's as if you don't listen to Fashion
Oh
Corner.
my God,
But I
I'm
mean,
so
as
sorry.
much as I don't like the cut of Leela's wedding dress, I do like that it's white accented with lilac, which really makes, because her whole thing's purple, so it makes her hair pop, and she does look beautiful because she's happy. Yeah.
Being happy makes you beautiful?
Yep.
Fuck. No wonder I'm ugly.
So it's just a wonderful, emotional little gift to us, the fans, and kind of they present it and go, here you go, that was it.
And Chris, as the final vote in the final episode of Futurama, bring it home.
About 10 seconds before Phil started talking, it was going to be Stench and Stensibility. And Phil made,
Oh my God.
made a
Press the time button.
Phil made a really articulate point.
Did I?
Yeah. as tired and delirious as you are.
My point very much was not. It's like, I like Stench because
Zoidberg is good.
Daenerys.
You made a really good point, and that was the effortlessness that the scenes and story are constructed. When you were talking about that single frame where Fry goes into Bender's room and talks about how he's going to propose.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about the opening of this episode and how they set up the balloon that saves Leela's life. And it was so fucking cleanly done. There was no lamp shading. It's just a feature. They pop in and then suddenly it's used as a comedic reveal, as a punchline, like effectively like 5 like 2 or 3 minutes down the line. It's used as a long-term like gag. And that's all through this episode. The writing is on point in this episode. Things are used for narrative and to convey meaning and to set up like the tone and all of that. It's done so effortlessly. No time is wasted in this episode, in an episode where time is being fucked with. The episode has to be tight because of those things. And whilst I fucking love stench and stenchability, I think looking at this one and going, hey, yeah, we're about to go into the Gauntlet where we look at this show again, kind of finally going over it again. Yeah, it's a nice send-off.
It really does feel like a home run, doesn't it? Like when we talk about that effortless feeling, it doesn't feel, some of our less favored episodes kind of feel like something's not quite clicking or it feels laboured.
Things feel bolted on or disconnected or jokes are there just for their own sake. And
there was nothing in this episode
Nothing
where I
superfluous,
blanched and went, well, that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
Like in an episode that's the finale of Futurama, they put in a vampire.
His name is Yanis.
State
Janos.
building.
Yeah.
And
it fits.
It fits.
Yeah.
Which is in the same episode where they pay homage to the second episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that kind of effortless joy where it's just like, hey, we're able to balance respecting our own canon and still being wacky and still being absurd and a reckless kind of abandon with they injected violence into the episode as a kind of
the main character 5 times.
It's Futurama. What show is going to do its final episode by having the main character die 5 times, being slowly resurrected by a slowly getting bored girlfriend who then manages to save his life by exploding a safety bag out of their robot friend, an airbag out of their robot friend,
and it's still like home,
and it's still landing home, and you're still emotional about the whole thing. What other show?
It's true.
Yeah.
So that's my vote.
So let's rack them up. Season 1, When Aliens Attack. Season 2, Mother's Day. Season 3, Roswell That Ends Well. Season 4, The Sting. Season 5, Movies, Into the Wild Green Yonder. Season 6, All the President's Heads. Season 7, Meanwhile. Those are the 7 episodes that are currently on the board. If you join back next week, we start the Gauntlet. And the wild card brackets, which is going to be, first of all, next week, which is the late Philip J. Fry going up against the Luck of the Fryrish.
Ooh, that's rough. That's rough. That's a good matchup.
And then the following week is The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings against Hell is Other Robots.
Yeah, thematic matchups. Very good. Good.
And they
decide
will be...
which of those similar thematic episodes are better. Yeah.
And then they are all vying for the coveted 8th spot. And then we can begin the Gauntlet in earnest.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because The Sting is the best episode, so...
Ooh.
I'll kill you.
Well, I feel like...
I just thought if I say that now, it's just going to percolate through your brains, and then
Okay,
I will
you
be
can't
right.
influence...
Too late. It's happening.
Ref!
As you
You
can
can
see,
retract... Oh, I retract it. I retract it.
the blood,
I retract it.
the blood is already beginning to spill in the Baby Beard universe.
Are you saying that I shouldn't be subliminally like playing
You cannot
sounds
influence
to
the
when you're
jury.
sleeping? Like I shouldn't be like sleep speaking at
Pepper
you?
it through the episodes. You're the editor.
I will hold all of you in contempt.
By the end of the final Gauntlet, we'll be at each other's throats.
Yeah.
Right.
But hey, that has been 150 episodes of Shut Up and Take My Podcast.
Wowie.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
And until
You.
the Gauntlet begins in earnest next week, I have, and will at least for a couple more weeks, be Sean.
I'll still be Ellen.
Never again will I be Phil.
And I'll forever be Chris.
Fucking bye.
Bye.
See you later, mate.
Go home.
Ciao, Bella.
I'm tired.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye now.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to contact us, you can do so by emailing us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com. Our socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @babybeardmedia. And if you're looking for a way to support us, the best way you can do it is by jumping onto iTunes or the podcast app and giving us a 5-star rating and a nice review. Goes a long way to helping us. Otherwise, if you'd like to join us next week...
Anyway.
Shut up.
I could have been a contender.
Shut up and take my podcast, episode 150.
Wow.
Meanwhile. It's all right. We got time.
We've got all the time in the world.
It's
as if he
my
can't.
eyes aren't that bad. I can squint at the bigger font.
Thank God I learned Braille.
Then his hands fall off.
Yes, that's
Oh.
Wait, this is a gauntlet?
Yes. I think that's what we should. Now let's just end it here.
I think so.
Every season's a winner. Yay!
Can't
Yay.
stop believing.
Did you say can't stop? Don't stop.
Oh, really?
I just can't stop believing. I just can't stop believing.
You shouldn't
Ought
stop
not
believing.
to stop believing.
Might not believe in.
Okay. Cute. Ready?
Yeah, I'm giving him 10 seconds.
10 seconds of silence.
That.
You're a dick.
10 seconds after Chris.
10 seconds
AC.
after me.
AC.
Me.
Shut up.